Welcome to my channel. Welcome to today's video. And today we're talking about a great topic, and I received a visual for it, which allowed me to call it the fireball effect, and I love it so much, and I'm sure it will help you to understand what I mean by this visual, by this visualization. And talking about emotions and especially attracting drama. And I often talk about this, that we create any kind of drama, any kind of uncomfortable situations, anything that triggers us. It actually originally comes from us, from inside us. And how to help you see this, I just love it. I just love the visual because it makes it so clear and understandable, because sometimes these energetical things can be hard to explain. But any form of expectations, emotions, processes that we go through, we need to go through them. But most of the time, we don't have the tools. We don't know how to go through them. So we try to avoid them. We try to suppress them. This comes also to chronic pain, physical pain. We don't know how to process it. We don't know how to understand it, how to open it. So we suppress it. But we can't. It's always going to be pushing out through that suppression. It's always going to be pushing through. And life is always going to be presenting you with situations where you can heal, with opportunities where you can heal. This is part of how manifestation works. Whatever you want now, from that moment, you're getting situations where you can allow that to happen for you. But about that another time. So the only way we can go through the emotional, or the only way we can get out of the emotional states, is going through them. Okay. And this, the fireball effect, I explain in terms with other people. And usually it's going to be the closest people to us. So it's going to be our parents, it's going to be our siblings, it's going to be our partners. And whatever the triggering situation that repeats itself, any form of uncomfortable situation, something that arises, like pushes your buttons, this is when, and I'll explain it on an example of where I have something that happened. Okay, it's the belief in something is happening, and I have this necessity, especially while everything's being speeded up, the whole world, we get this constant feeling of having to react to everything. And we have the need, okay, we have to inform that other person. We have to deal with that situation. We have to. And as soon as you're doing anything from the energy of I have to, now I must, and we're stepping in to deal with something, to solve something, to think out something. This is what stops the flow. This is what doesn't allow us to go through whatever we're going through, because we think that we're gonna maybe save someone, we have a good intention, we have to inform people. And this is how we share the drama. Okay, we keep ourselves in the loop of dramatic situations of, wow, what's happening? Because if nothing's going on in our lives, then we have no worth, right? Because we usually base our self-worth on the amount of stuff happening in our situations. We confirm our worth and our being with situations that stimulate our nervous system, which is, there's something going on. I have something going on. Even going to work every day is something that it's a stimulation for our system. We don't need to or have to be doing it. There are other ways, becoming a magnet for things and accepting. but we need this to stimulate it. And the fireball effect is that whatever we're going through, whatever emotion has been triggered, whatever expectations we have right now, we put them in a ball that's burning with flames, because there's all those expectations, there's all that emotion, it's in there. And we don't want it. We want to feel better. We want to feel good. So what we do, we take that fireball and we give it to someone. We give it to the partner. You deal with it. And we think we're informing them, because of course they need to know. They need to know what's going on. We need to share it, right? We need to. And then we expect, because those expectations are in the fireball. So it's a burning flames ball, but they don't want it and it's uncomfortable. And if they react in the same way that you do, because you have received that information, it has triggered you somehow, whatever the way. Maybe it was from someone. Maybe it was. And what we do, we pass on that burning fireball. But what happens? They don't want it. It comes back to us immediately. We always receive what we're resonating. We'll always get back what we put out there. So those unfulfilled expectations from their reaction, those emotional reactions that they give us, whatever they give us in that fireball back is what we sent out in the first place. But often we don't want to see this. We don't want to realize this. They're giving us the same treatment we're giving them. But we don't want to see this. We're hurt then. They're giving us exactly what they're getting. And this goes to everything. This goes to every aspect of your life. But especially emotional, triggering situations. Because we're expecting for someone to rid us of those feelings, to deal with it for us. And we include people in that dealing. We always feel like we have to deal with stuff. But the only true way that allows the fireball to steam out and allows it to burn out and become neutral is going through whatever we're going through. Surrendering to whatever you're feeling, to whatever is happening. The most dramatic situations you can imagine. But the only fastest way out of that situation is allowing yourself to process it, your body. And you will see the difference if you try this on something you've been having to tell someone. And you're thinking, I don't know how to say it. I don't know what what their reaction will be. Or you may be even preparing yourself for their reaction because you have gotten your nervous system used to that story you tell yourself about them, to how they react to news, to how they react to this sort of news. Because of course this news happens to you so that you can learn from this situation. Okay? But the difference is when you take this fireball, you become aware that it's inside you right now. There's a series of expectations, of emotions. You're going through a process right now. But what happens when you do nothing? When you wait, you fully trust the process, you stay with those emotions within yourself. Whatever you're feeling, you accept it. You become proud of yourself for feeling it. You become aware, okay, I'm feeling it. And you wait and you do nothing. You deal with nothing. You react on it. You don't react on it. No way. Anyway, in any way, you don't react on it in any way. What happens actually is the opposite of what the ego thinks. Because the ego gives the immediateness. You have to tell them now. You have to deal with this now. Otherwise, you're lazy. Otherwise, you're ignorant. Otherwise, you're procrastinating. We have this constant feeling of immediateness, which the ego loves. Okay, the ego makes us feel like we're late already. It's been late yesterday, and why is this happening? And it keeps us in that spiral. But what actually happens if we do nothing, first, what doesn't allow us to do nothing is the fear of, if we do nothing, the bad will happen. Or if we don't deal with it, then we're whatever. But that's just the part of the fear. It's part of the story. But if we do nothing, we follow through, we allow all the emotions to pass through our body, all the expectations to leave. Just consider the scenario where there won't be a reaction. Just take a step back, process all that you need to process, and then even take it a step further. How do you want the situation to resolve itself? And the easiest way is that there's no situation, that the situation even disappears, but not with suppressing it, not with avoiding it, but going through it, neutralizing it, because once the emotions, that you will see that at some point you won't even be interested, because if you don't react to what you're going through, this is where the body and the mind loses interest after some time. And no one will tell you if it's going to be days or hours or minutes. But the more you surrender to things, the faster it becomes. And once you allow, okay, this is how I'm feeling right now, this is the way you bring the fireball to its neutral state. And eventually, when you're feeling whatever, okay, I'm neutral about saying whatever I have to say, creating that exchange with someone, because whenever we're sending energy, we're sending words, we're sending something to others, there's a constant exchange. It will never go just one way and stay there. It will not, your emotions won't process themselves in someone else. They will only keep the fireball going and burning more. Once we keep that drama alive, that's when it really takes on the new layers and the new strength. Okay, so once we allow it to neutralize itself, then we can get to the point where we give that information without the expectations, without the emotions. And what we receive is peace if we're giving out peace. But this often is something we fear, because this is covered in layers of bad case scenarios. What's gonna happen? What they're gonna think about me if I tell them this? Okay, so whatever it is, you feel like you need to share, you feel like you have to deal with, as big as the situation is, or as big as it seems, as high as it's exaggerated, you can allow yourself to even try this other approach. Try the fireball, to keep it in your pit. Let it burn out all the things that you don't need anymore need to burn. You need to cleanse yourself through them, and you cleanse yourself by allowing them to go through you. So whatever the emotions, whatever the fears, whatever the expectations, they're your fears, your emotions, your expectations. You need to allow them to flow through you until there's nothing left. And then what you're giving is a neutral fireball here. And you will also know when the time is right for you to give it without that expectation. Because if we give without that expectation, if we deal with without expectations, if we deal with things neutrally, this is what comes back. Neutrality, peace. And if we give it with peace, it comes back with more peace. The emotion multiplies, right? But if we're giving the more emotion, the more expectations, we're giving in that fireball, the more it's going to be coming in with. So it's going to amplify until we stop the cycle. This is why the sayings come from the wiser takes a step back, or things like this. It's because we're both. We're both us, and we're both what we see in others. We are the emotions we see in others. We're the characteristics we see in others. They behave how we need them to behave so that we can learn. They mirror our inner state. And the more peaceful we become, the more neutral we become, then this will resonate in the situations around us. So I hope this helps, and make sure to try it out, because I think this is a great tool. And I'll see you in the next video. Have a great day. Bye.